Okay, good. Now, so what does it say? Consider this diagram. We have a shape, superclass, and then we have rectangle and triangle. What does it say? Our program uses many kinds of shapes, such as triangle, rectangle, and so on. You should design an abstract class called shape, which defines the public behaviors of all shapes, as mentioned in the above class diagram. طيب, we would like all the shapes to have a method called getArea, okay, which returns the area of that particular shape. So we have the superclass shape. It has a color, only one private attribute, which is the color. We have getArea and toString. Then we have another two classes that inherit from this one, extends this shape. They have length and width in case of rectangle. Of course, we will override getArea in rectangle and in triangle. Now, in triangle, we have two other attributes, base and height. Don't forget the color will be inherited. So far, so good?
Yes.
Good. Define a shape abstract class as mentioned in the above class diagram. So a shape will be defined as an abstract class. In this abstract class, we will define one attribute, one private attribute, which is the color. And we will write one abstract method, which is getArea. This abstract method will have no details. Are you following?
Yes.
Good. So let's go to writing this abstract class. Now, by the way, an abstract class must have at least one abstract method. But we could have other methods like normal methods with the body. In interface, no. Interface cannot have any method with its body. Interface is a total abstract.
All
Everything in the interface must be abstract. This is clear. This is very important. Okay. Now let's go to the shape. How to define an abstract class? We simply add this keyword abstract. Bas. Other thing, as we know, public class, and this is the name of your abstract class. Then, since we have only one attribute, which we say to be private, so we are writing private string color. Then we have the constructor. By the way, an abstract class have a constructor. So in this constructor, we need only the color because we have only one attribute, which is the color. So I will take the color, set the color. Here we are defining the abstract method اللي هي اسمها getArea. So public abstract double getArea. Is it clear? Okay. Now we will define the toString. In this case, toString شو بتوجه? It will return what? One attribute value, which is the color. I guess it's very simple class. Any question regarding this abstract class? Guys,
It's okay.
that's good. So let's move to the other class. Let's talk about rectangle, for example. So in this rectangle, what's the role of override? Reem, also you have problem in your mic? It seems to be. Okay, so I prefer you talking better than typing, but it's okay. What's the role of override? Override means I am overriding a predefined method in one of my superclasses. Now, we talked before about toString, and we said in toString is defined in which class? Usama?
The string class.
No?
Object.
Object, thank you. Who said object?
Me.
Thank you. Who's you?
Oh no, Amal. But I said.
Okay, thank you, Amal. It's defined in the object. It's in the super class اسمه object. That's why we use the keyword override. Override means I'm overriding, I'm redefining a method that was already defined in one of the super classes. Is it clear about override? So getArea In rectangle now, I am overriding the get area of which class? Of shape class, right? So shape is my superclass in this case. So shape has this abstract method. Now rectangle will extend the abstract class. So as you can see here, public class rectangle extends shape. This rectangle will have two private attributes, length and width. Then we have the constructor. This constructor will take, of course, length and width, the two attributes, plus the color, because don't forget we are inheriting from the shape, the color from the shape. Then we are calling the superclass. Who's the super in this case?
Shape.
Shape, thank you. So the shape will take the color, and then I will set my attributes according to the parameter. So far, so good? Nothing new, I guess. This is just similar to the inheritance so far. Okay. Now, I will override the get area function that was already defined in the shape, in the superclass. So, what is the area of a rectangle? Simply its length by width. Why I am writing override? Because as I said before, this function was defined in the parent class. So this one. So I'm overriding this one. So far so good?
مادام كان ما نحطوش override ما تخدمش.
No, it will. It will
مدام
suggest it for you, but it will work. Yes.
في الميثود في الشيب ما كتبنا في الريتيرن.
Which method, sorry?
في الجيت
string you mean?
في الجيت اريا و
ما فيش body.
This is an abstract method. Nothing like this exactly. So public
حتى
abstract
الريتيرن ما دام نحطوش معناها
sorry.
الريتيرن مش نورمالمون نحطوا يعني انه
Data type here it is double. We put the data type of the method. No return keyword. كيفاش نحطوا return وانا ما عنديش body? I don't have body. I put data type متاع الميثود متاعي. What it will return صح. In this case it will return double. So I will write double. Otherwise we don't put. Is it clear? It's an abstract method. Abstract method shouldn't have like this. No, cannot. See?
Yes.
Abstract method cannot have a body. Can you read the comment from NetBeans? Yes.
Yes, it cannot have.
Okay. Now, let's move. Return back to rectangle. Now, in rectangle as well, I will override the toString. In this case, I will return this format: rectangle, then super toString. It will return what?
The two strings
The
of
color.
Good. The color of the shape. Then I will display return the length and return the width. Is it clear? So far, so good.
Yes.
Good. So let's move to the triangle. It will be just similar. So triangle extends which shape? Shape. Then it has height and base because it's a triangle. It has a constructor. In this constructor, it will take three parameters, which is height, base, and color. Then it will call the super constructor to give it the color. But it will define its attributes according to the parameters. I guess this is so clear. Nothing new so far. Now it will override the toString as well. As we said, you could remove the override keyword, or you could keep it. Now I will say triangle plus the color, then the height of my triangle, then the base. So far, so good.
Yes.
Good. Now get area. In get area, it will return the area of triangle. How to return the area of triangle? Sorry, it's half multiplied by height multiplied by base. This is the formula for calculating the area. That's all. Now let's go to the test. What we will do in the test, it's a main class. So of course I will add the main. Then I will define two shapes in this case, S1 and S2 of type what? Shape. Now I will instantiate them differently. So this is polymorphism. You remember? Shape equal new rectangle. So this is the superclass, this is the subclass, this is the superclass, this is the subclass. So the first one is equal to rectangle, the second one is equal to triangle. I'm giving the values. The rectangle, this is the height and this is the width and this is the color. Then I am printing the value of this object. I am calculating the area. Then I'm defining another shape as triangle. I'm giving it the height and base, then the color. Then I am displaying the value of my triangle. Finally, I'm displaying its area. Is it clear?
Miss, I have a
About the
question.
polymorphism. What's the point of putting the superclass and then the subclass?
Okay, good question. Now assume I want to define an array of shapes, for example, and I am not sure which shape will be. It is a mixture of shapes. Let's assume this array has a triangle, rectangle, I don't know, square, and all of these shapes. Now, when I define my array as a rectangle, then I can have only rectangle shapes, right? However, if I defined my array, for example, as shape, then I am free to define as any shape as I want. Is it clear, Osama? So assume I do shape array equals to new shape 3. Okay, so in this case, I'm defining an array of type shape. Now I have the freedom, أنا حرة. I can define the first cell of my array as what? Let's say rectangle.
As a rectangular.
Good. Is it clear? So this will give me more freedom. This will give me more freedom to do whatever I want. So my array will have a mixture of shapes. Maybe this is what I want. Does this answer your question, Osama?
Yes, but the utility is only in terms of when you're creating an array. فمش utility for a single object.
Wallahi, this is mostly the case. Yes, this is mostly the case.
Okay.
But also, when you create one object, just a minute, please. When I create one object, maybe at the beginning of program, assume this is my class. It's not the main, it's the class. So I will create shape S. And inside each method, for example, I will use the shape one time as a rectangle and one time as triangle. Is it clear? So this will give me more choices. However, if I define this attribute like rectangle, then that's all. It is a rectangle. It cannot be a triangle. Is it clear, Osama, again?
Yes, yes.
So not only in array, mostly it's an array, true, but if you define also an attribute, if you define it as a superclass, then you have more choices. Yes, who was talking, please?
Madam, لحظة, I didn't get the last point. For shape is you can define it twice as a rectangle and then as a triangle.
Of course. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
So let's see, like just a minute, please. Let's do what? Let's make shape S a semicolon, and I will use only S. Like I will remove. So this S, I will use it one time as a rectangle, and another time the same S. So can you see what's your name? Sorry, I don't see names now. I don't see the list. Who was asking? Maryam? No.
Sandra.
Sandra. Okay. So can you see now? I defined only one object, which is shape S. Then I'm defining it one time as a rectangle and one time as, so I, of course, there's an error and I'm referring to S1. So, okay, we still have 10 minutes. When Zoom finish, I will call again, so please join the session. Is it clear, please?
Okay. Okay. Madam, I have a question.
Just a minute, let me make it work, this one. So let me try to run. Okay, until it runs, please ask me. Tell me, yes.
Okay, I have this question. I don't know if it's stupid or not, but why we did make a new file for subclasses? Because we didn't do it last time with person.
Why did we create a new file for subclasses? We always do this in Java.
Like triangle.java and rectangle.java.
We always do this. See, I will show you in my inheritance. The one that I have uploaded. Just a minute, please. In inheritance, this is the last lab, right? I have uploaded in UVT. As you can see, we have person, the superclass separately. We have a student, which is the subclass, a teacher, which is another subclass. And this is the test. We always do this in Java. So like we always do this. It's recommended to be this way, yeah? So it's not only regarding abstract, even if it's not abstract. Okay, let's do something else now. Okay, let's see what will be the output here. So in this case, we have created like S as shape, then it is like a rectangle. Now, the values for the rectangle is, the color is red, the length is 10 because we are giving it 10 as length, width is 5. Then we are displaying the area. The area in this case is 10 by 5, which is simply 50. So far, so good?
مدام راه عمل لك display بالاس ار اس دي مش بالاس.
No, it's only the text. I'm using S as my variable. Is it clear? So this is misleading. But this is only string. بالنسبة لجافا ما يهتمش. For the compiler, it does not care about the string. This is only comment for us. So it does not change the result. Now, okay, to avoid confusion. Now this is my area for triangle, sorry, I have a color red, a height 20 and base 4. What is my area? It will be 20 by 4 over 2. It will be then 40. Clear?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Now let me do one thing. You remember when we talked about polymorphism and I said like in polymorphism, if you use the superclass equal to the subclass, then it's exactly like using subclass. Do you remember? Like what I said. Shape is equal. It's just like saying, that's what I said at least. Equal. Let's put another name. So I said before that these two are exactly the same. Do you remember?
Yes.
Yes.
But they are not really exactly the same. There will be some problem in this case. Wait, I will show you something. Okay. So what is my shape? In this case, yes, it will be exactly the same. Don't forget, لأنه shape is an abstract class. What if I want to change my shape to be normal class? So I will simply remove the abstract. Okay, and I will remove this method totally. Now let's see what will happen. Okay, I will have problems. Okay, let's remove the override thing. Okay, let's go to this one. Now, هنا مش تظهر المشكلة. Let's see. So let's compile and see what will be the problem. No, I don't want to go here. Just compile it and see what will be the problem. So we'll go to test.
مدام خاطر خليت الجيت اريا وانت فسخت الاوفررايد نتاعها.
Yes, wait. This is not a problem. I will show you what is the problem inside. Let's debug. No compile. Okay. Remember.
It's Shift F6 now.
Yes. Okay, here we are. وين المشكلة هنا? Why do we have a problem? It's not like about get area because I have removed the get the override keyword. Who said this is the problem? I have removed it. So in this case, what I have done, I created shape as superclass. It does not have get area. Then I wrote get area in rectangle, which is here. I have defined it. And I have created get area in triangle as well. So far, so good? Now, شنو المشكلة? I have defined shape S as what? As a rectangle. Now, S is of type shape. I'm trying to do what? S dot get area. This is an error. علاش it's an error? Why do you think it's an error? لأنه S.
Because the shape, yeah.
Excellent. Shape does
Get area is
not
not
get
a shape.
area. Even though I'm defining it of type rectangle. ولكن why do we have a problem? In Java, Instantiation happen at compilation time or runtime?
Runtime.
Excellent, at runtime. And now we are in which stage? This error, this is compilation error or one runtime error?
Runtime.
Runtime.
No, this is a compilation error. So بالنسبة للcompiler, it will go to the shape class because S of type shape. Don't forget, instantiation did not happen yet. We are not yet, we are in the compiler. So S of type shape, I'm doing s.getArea. The compiler will go to the shape, it will search for getArea, it's not there. So it will raise an error. Is it clear? So أنا شو حبيت نوريكم. Now to avoid these kind of problems, we create shape as abstract and we define an abstract method called getArea. Why I'm doing this? I'm forcing all the subclass of shape to implement getArea. So I will not have any kind of these errors. Is it clear? شنو أهمية الabstract class? I only do this to illustrate for you what kind of problems we could have if this was not an abstract class and if we did not create the method getArea as an abstract method. Is it clear? Or does
So
it
only
make
to
you,
force only to
did
force
it make you
subclasses to
more
inherit method.
okay, does that make it more clear or more complicated?
مدام
Miss
Yes.
vas-y.
ميرسي مدام إذا استعملنا x في بلاصة ال s معناتها we're gonna use only the rectangle variable x.
إذا استخدمنا x ما عندك حتى
Yes.
مشكلة. Happy life. No problem.
Yes, we have no problem.
Happy life. Yes. No, not even a single problem because it's rectangle. So the compiler will go to rectangle. We have already
And
get area,
you
so we don't have any problem. Yes, good. But why did we create it as shape? Again, return to our question because we want it to be general enough. So this shape can be a triangle and it can be a rectangle as well. So I will make the decision later.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Miss, even if the shape was abstract and we created a method in the subclasses and then we used it with an object that was instantiated as a shape object, it would have made the error, right? And it's not necessarily about whether it's abstract.
Good method, a good question. True, it will raise an error. Yes, true. But generally, when we create a superclass, we define the things that are common. Is it clear? So in this case, you are the programmer. So in the superclass, can you hear me? It says the network is unstable.
Yes.
Okay, good. So in your case, in the abstract class, make abstract methods for things that are necessary. Is it clear, Osama? So if getArea
in the superclass, you will pretty much put abstract methods for any method that would be used by any other subclass.
Thank you very much.
The
Yes.
subclasses.
Yes, shared between all shapes, let's say. For example, getArea, it's common between like all the shapes. Let's say, I don't know, what other things? Color, for example, getColor, or things that are common between classes and however will be implemented differently. I cannot think of another thing rather than getArea. So things that are shared, however different, like it will be implemented differently, make it as abstract. So for example, if you think of a bank, so if you create a bank like a superclass, then let's create interest as an abstract method because an interest is different from one bank to another. Question? Or let's say transfer rate, because one bank will make the
if you have an
transfer
array
rate
of
as
shapes
$3, other
and
will
you
make
wanna instantiate like different like shapes, rectangles and triangles. Basically, you won't be able to use the methods unique to those shapes and those
good,
objects.
excellent. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yes. You will only use the shared methods, like the methods that are defined in the superclass and in the subclass. If you want to use something that is like only related to rectangle, just define it as rectangle, which makes sense, right?
مدام احنا في الكا هذيك مش نعملوا shape of 0 is equal to new rectangle.
Okay,
and
good.
we add the parameters of the rectangle.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
So we can apply a method that is defined as a rectangle class on a specific shape.
No, because as we said in Java, it does instantiating later. It does the instantiating at runtime. So the problem will occur in this case in compilation. So regarding to the compiler, he does not know if it is a rectangle or triangle until running. So the compiler will raise the error. فهمتني؟ بالنسبة للكومبايلر فما error لأنه الميثود هذه باش يمشي يلوج عليها في الشيب in the super class in here like the left hand side. If he does not find it, he will raise an error. So this is our
I mean if we apply the function on shape of 0, for example. Shape
I
of
can
0.
understand you, yes. It will be also an error. لأنه shape of
Okay.
0 is of type shape. It
Okay,
will not
okay.
look at the new. I understand your question. ما هيش باش تمشي للنيو. So what you are trying to say is I will define an array of type shape as I showed before. Like that's what you mean, right? A new
Yes.
shape, let's say of size 2. Now it's an abstract class, so I don't have any problem. Huh? But let's assume, yeah, let's assume. So what you are trying to say, array of 0 will be equal to new, let's say rectangle. Then you give it the parameters, whatever. That's what you are trying to say, right? Now,
Yes.
if you try to say array of 0, like this is not a 0, dot a unique function that is defined in rectangle and not defined in shape, this will raise an error. Is it clear?
Okay.
Because
yes.
بالنسبة له array of 0 is of type shape. He did not do instantiating yet. بالنسبة للcompiler, I'm talking about compiler. It did not do the instantiating. The instantiating, the new keyword, happens at runtime. So when you run it, okay, but I cannot run it. I will be stuck in the compilation error. So that will be the case. So as Osama said, if we want to define it as of type shape, general type, then you will be able to use the common methods, the methods that are defined in the superclass and in the subclass. If you want to be it to be like really rectangle, you use the unique function in rectangle, then you have to define it as a rectangle. Or define this method as an abstract in the shape. Just define it as an abstract in the shape and then override it in the rectangle. Okay, any other questions, please? Shall we move to the other class, the interface? I guess this is a yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's go to this is Java interface. Here we are. Let's read the question before together. So here we are. This is the interface. We want to create a new type that describes any possible sequence of numbers. Through this type, we will be able to get the next or previous number to a given entry. So we have a sequence. We want to get the previous value or the next value. The numbers must always be ranged between 0 and 100. Now, to do so, we will first create a general template that defines the functionalities offered by any sequence. So we will define an interface called sequence containing two methods, اللي هي getNext and getPrevious. It has also two variables, which is max and min. So far, so good? Sorry?
Am I the only one who is seeing the NetBeans, not the lab?
Ah, okay. Thank you for saying that. Okay, so let me share. Okay. You have it in your laptop or your, but
Yes,
it's okay. It's
yes,
better
I
to
have
share
it,
it. Yes.
actually.
Yeah. What about now?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, thank you. So it will have getNext method, getPrevious. It will have two variables, max and min. A static method called displayRange that displays the minimum and max values. So in this case, it will have two methods, two public, static, abstract methods, and two public, not static, two abstract methods, normal methods. لأنه interface we generally which kind of method do we have in interface?
Abstract. Only abstract.
Good. But the new generation from Java, before, as you said, only abstract methods, but now the new generation accept static method and accept a default method. A default method, as it's explained in the slides, a default method will have a body, unlike the normal abstract methods. Now, before the Java interface accepts only abstract method. Badly, it added the default method, which is a method that can have a body. So in this case, you can have a default method. Plus, you could have a static method. You know what's a static method, right? You have a complete chapter regarding static. A static method is a method that is related to the class, not to the object. It can execute using the class name dot the method name. So it does not depend on the value of your object. Is it clear, the static method?
Yes, in this case, we write the interface name dot the static method and
Exactly, thank you.
name.
That's what we'll be doing. So let's start. Let's start first by defining the interface. Now, here we are. So this is Java interface. No, it's sequence. Sorry, yeah, this is the one. Here we are. How to write it? Public, the keyword interface, and then the interface name. Then int max equal to 100. Of course, you could write public static final int max, but by default, it will do the task for you. You remember in the chapter, what does it say? All the variables must be final. Final means constant. Constant, the value will not change. It should be public and static at the same time. Clear? So this is max and this is min. In this case, we have this abstract method. You could add the keyword abstract, but no need, because we said in the chapter, you watched the video, right?
Yes, and the
So,
compiler.
Good, the compiler will do it for you, so no need. If you write it, it's correct. If you don't write it, also it's correct. So this is another abstract method, which is get previous. So far, so good. Then we are defining one static method, which is public. You could add public or you don't add it, it's up to you. Static void display range. شنو display range باش تعمل? It will show only the range, simply. So system.out.println minimum equal to minimum, maximum equal to max. Is it clear, the interface class?
Yes.
Any questions? Thank you. Okay, so let's move to let's read the explanation. I'll return back here. So create a class sequence arithmetic that implements. So since this is an interface, we need to write a class that does what? Implement. The interface sequence. This class has what? An attribute private int. We have one attribute, which is int number. Then a constructor sequence arithmetic. It will define the number. Then get next. We will implement get next that was defined in the interface. How to implement it? It will increment the attribute number by 1, then returns the new value. A method get previous that decrement the number by 1 and returns the value. Okay, let's do that. Now there is a note saying for question 2 and 3, the number must always be comprised between, it should be between min and max defined in the interface. So we will implement this sequence arithmetic in NetBeans. Let's go. So this is the one. Here we are. This is a normal class, public class sequence arithmetic. However, it implements my interface. So we write it this way: public class, name of the class, then the keyword implements, then a sequence, the name of my class, my interface. Then this is, we have one attribute, which is private in this case, number. We are defining the constructor, public sequence arithmetic. It takes one parameter because we have only one attribute. Then this attribute equals to the parameter. So far, so good?
Yes. But why didn't you add the condition of the number?
Not
It
yet.
should be.
No, I did not get next now. In the get next and get previous.
Ah,
In
I
get
made
next, I see. So here you also, okay, good point. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe it's from the beginning out of the range. Good point.
Yes.
Yes, maybe. Right. Yeah. Why not? We could write F, right? You could do it. F number should be greater than or equal to the name of your class, your sequence. Here we are. This one. I will copy this. Thank you. Yes.
That mean.
Yeah. I will update it. And at the same time, less than. Okay, why not? Else, of course, you could display an error.
Yes.
Out of range. Can we do while in condition? Do while, like we don't generally do it because here we are not reading. We don't generally do while in constructor or in set value or get values. No. Generally we don't do while. Okay, it's acceptable to have do whiles in a class, but this is, we don't generally do it. Okay, so this is the thing. Now we are implementing the function get next, get previous. You are welcome. So in get next, we will do the check if number plus 1 greater than the sequence max. So if I exceeded the max, then I will not increment it. I will return the number itself. Okay. You could also, of course, display a message saying, for example, you cannot increase or whatever, you exceeded the, I don't know, whatever you want to say. What's the problem? Unreachable statement? Why is it unreachable statement? After the return, sorry. Yeah. So you'll display for him that this is out of range or you cannot add one. Let's say. And then return number. Else you will increment it by 1. So far so good?
Yes, Miss.
Yes.
It's fine to not write sequence before the max.
No, it's not
that
fine.
Generate an error, I think. It didn't
Sorry?
generate an error in my case.
Sorry again.
When I didn't write sequence dot before the max or the mean.
This here, you are talking about this one?
Yes. Yes.
But this is, you should check, لأنه maybe you get out of range. Maybe your number is 100, so you are in the range. Yes.
I mean that I didn't refer to the sequence, but I wrote only the max number. Is okay.
So greater than max, and it works for you?
Yes, it works.
Okay, good. Because maybe it implements the interface. Let's see.
Yes.
Right.
So probably it has them.
Good, it works. It does. Yeah. Why not?
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, it works. So in get previous, we'll do similar thing in opposite way. So we'll do number minus 1. If it is less than the minimum, then I will not decrement, and I will display also like a warning message or error message. You cannot subtract in this case. You cannot subtract 1. Then else you will decrement normally. So far so good? Any questions, please? Guys, any questions?
No.
No, clear for all? Good. So let's move to the other sequence. So let's go to the lab. Let's read the second part. Create a class sequence double that implements the interface sequence. This class has also one private int number, then a constructor sequence double. Again, it takes one parameter, then get next and get previous. However, get next modifies number as follows: number times equal to number. So it's multiplying the number by itself. Get previous, it will do the opposite of multiplication. It will be division. So it will divide number by number, and it will return the value. So let's do it. We will go to the files, sequence double here. So this will be my class, implement sequence. It has one private attribute. Then this is my constructor. Then we have get next. And get next, also here, of course, as she said, what's your name, Suha? No? Who told me about this restriction?
Arish.
Arish. Thank you, Arish.
Welcome.
Every lecture, I give you a new name. Sorry for that. Like, okay. Thank you, Arish. If number.
No problem.
So if this is the case, then I will update it. Else, also, I will display like similar error. I'm bad in memorizing names. Sorry for this. Arish. Okay, I'll try to remember. Now, then this will be get next. Regarding get next, as we said, we have to multiply it. Why multiply by 2? Does it multiply by 2? What does the question say? No, right?
No.
No, it's not multiply by 2. No. Okay. Why did I do what? Multiply by 2? No. Number. So if number times number greater than sequence max, you return number. Again, you could say what? An error message, like saying
you can't multiply.
Good. Or you cannot get next, or out of range, or whatever, like whatever you want to say. It's up to you. Else, number times equal number. That's all. Regarding get previous, if number of number is than sequence dot main, then again we will write some warning message. Out of range, and then you return the number itself without division. Else return okay, here we are. By the way, you need to check that number is not equal to 0. Okay? Otherwise, you have a problem. Because in my range, I could start by 0. So if number is not
is the main is equal to 1, right?
the minimum is 1 or
So
0?
you can
Is it 1 or 0?
1,
I forgot.
think.
Wait,
No,
I
it's
forget.
0.
0, yeah, good.
0.
I have
Okay.
memory, alhamdulillah, in numbers, not in names. So I will call you with numbers. Number 1, number 2. So if number, just joking, not equal to 0, then I could do, well, I did not understand the message of wait. She was chatting with me. I don't understand. The message is not a return. Does it appear in the result when we call get previous? Yes, it will appear. We will try, don't worry. We will try something that is out of range, inshallah. Don't worry.
مدام
Yes.
الكونديسيون تاع الزيرو كان نحطها من الأول بالكل خير قبل حتى أو قبل checking the out of range whether it's
Where?
out of range or not.
Win. Here?
Yes, before that condition.
And get previous?
Yes.
But get previous maybe after maybe كانت 1 وكي نقصت ولد 0 ناقصة هذه قسمة. Anyway, put it wherever you want. Okay, you mean here? Like if number? Okay, good. So we'll put it one
Yes.
time. نبدأ العملية من الأول.
Because
Okay.
we're gonna.
I understand this. Okay. Why not? Yes. I have like extra something. Wait, missing return. سوف نرجع مشكلة الريتيرن المعتادة. So if number not equal to 0, else what shall we do? Help me. return what? Return 0. If it is 0, what shall I do? Return 0, right?
Yes.
If number not equal to 0, then I will do this. If it is equal to 0, then I will display message like, no, system. I thought I'm copy pasting the system. So here we are. Display like cannot divide by 0, cannot get you previous, whatever you want. Can't divide by 0 مثلا. Okay, is it clear so far? So good. Any questions?
No.
Okay, let's see. So why is it red here? Okay, no problem. Now let's go to the last thing, which is defining my test class. Create a test class. In this class, you will create objects from the different classes and call all the methods. Sorry, call the static method display range in the middle. Okay, let's do that. So we are in the test. Where is this one? Java interface. Here we are. This is my main. In this case, we are defining an object of type sequence arithmetic. Okay, we are giving it number equals to 10. Then we are defining this equal to 30. Then system.out.println get next. So what's next after 10? بالنسبة arithmetic, it's supposed to print what? Guys?
11.
Thank you. What about the get previous? بالنسبة SD, yeah?
1.
SD is double.
So 30 over 30.
1.
1.
Thank you. Yes. Supposed to be this. Then I will be displaying the range. How to display the range? Don't forget, display range is what? It's of type what?
Static.
Thank you. It's a static. It's a static. It is void, but I'm asking about static. So that's why I'm calling it using what? Using the interface name, which is in this case sequence. Sequence.display range. Is it clear what we have done in the main? Very simple. Just to see the functionality of my classes. Let's see now.
مدام
Yes, why is it 10?
مدام ليش تعمل لنا SA dot
Wait,
get
please. أنا عندي مشكلة حاليا، مشكلة في حياتي. Now get next supposed to return 11. Huh? Why does it return 10? Wait. Sequence arithmetic. I see. Can you see? Why do we have a problem? See. Now, by the way, this is misleading, plus plus. When plus plus comes at the beginning, the plus will happen before the return. When it is like this, plus plus number, we will do the increment, then we will return it. However, unfortunately, if it is like this, it will return number, then internally it will do the increment. Is it clear? Which is not what we want.
Yes.
So we make it like this, or simply, if it is complicated for you, you will make what? Number.
Increment before.
Separately, thank you, equal to number, or simply number plus plus. If you insist, إذا مصرين على number plus plus, then it will be like this.
مدام لكن في هذه مش تعمل لك مشكلة كي تعمل بعد ما تعمل get next تعمل الميثود get previous ترجع لك ال previous 10 مش 9.
طيب صح، وهو المطلوب لأنه الرقم تاعي ولا this one, but this will work. No, it should work. Like it should work, but it should return 10 لأنه my number was updated, isn't it?
لا مش لوجيك على هكا تولي انت عطيت 10 نمرة 10 تحب النكست نتاعو والبريفيوس نتاعو مش النكست البريفيوس نتاع النكست مش لوجيك برشا.
But this is a sequence. For me, اللوجيك إنه ترجع لي 10. Right? Like this is for me. If I am in a sequence and I get the next, When I get the previous, then I should return to the normal one. So if I do get next 2 times, I'm supposed to go to the 11. مش هكا. Sorry, to 12. For me, this is the sequence. Why is it a sequence? Like, let's
إيه
see here.
لكن ال previous متاع ال original number مش متاع
No,
ال
it's
next
supposed
number.
for the sequence for me. Like, it's supposed to be this way. Let's see. So this is 11. Like, what's previous? Why is it 11? Asli. So SA dot get next, it will make 11. And why get previous will make it 11.
مادام بالك ما عملش الران تاو بالكش مازال في نفس الاوتبوت متاع بكري.
Let's see. What did I-
كنت بفكر
Let's see. Okay, I've not missed. Let's go to get previous. Let's see. What's going on? Get previous. Oh, we still have this problem, huh? We did not fix it here. Here we are. It's 10. That's what makes sense for me. Sorry, who said that it should be 9?
مي ساندرا.
Sandra, no, it does not make sense for me. If you want to get the 10, then start by get previous. Yes. Don't forget, we are in a sequence. أنا نلعب لعبة مع بعضنا. For example, we are playing a game which is called sequence. Then I ask you, give me a number, Sandra. Yalla, give me a number between 0 and 100.
20.
20, for example. Then I tell you get next. You tell me 21. Then I say get previous. I'm playing. I'm doing a sequence. Then you say 20. Then again get previous. You'll say 19. ما نجمش تكون النقطة المرجعية متاعي which is at the beginning. I started starting point, then I'm moving like playing in a puzzle. Clear? So shouldn't be what you are saying. No, this is at least not the question, not what the question says. Huh? So in this case, yes. Your sequence arithmetic starts with 10. Then I ask you what's the previous of 10, then you say 9. Then nimshiu next. I will take the next of my previous, which will be 10. 10 to the 9, mush 10 to 10. Clear, Sandra?
Yes.
Good. Now let's move to the sequence double. In the sequence double, equal a new sequence double, Okay, get to previous. Now, as you said, 30 over 30, it will be equal to 1. We don't have any problem. Okay, let's try it with 0. Let's see. This will have problem of dividing by 0. Let's say, what does it say? Cannot divide by 0, and it returned 0. Okay, so here we are, sequence double. شكون قالت لي the one that was typing? Amal, I guess. Yes. So does this answer your question? Yes. She said yes. Okay, thank you. So this is all. If you are trying to divide by 0, it will not allow you. It will display also 0. So I said it will return 0. It depends. Whatever you want to return, return. If you want to return negative value, it's like your decision. Huh? I guess that's all. Huh?